Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn. I am Erin Creighton, and I am the Adult Services Department Head and Assistant Branch Manager for the Fredericksburg branch of the Central Rappahannock Regional Library. Today, I am really happy to be joined by Jan Monroe and Steph VA, who is here to tell us about their spring musical. So, Jan, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are at Steph VA and what your role is?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Erin. Thank you for having us here today. As Erin mentioned, I'm Jan Monroe. I'm co-founder and executive director of Step VA Inc.
Excellent.
Hello, my name is Grant Hobbs, and I'll be playing Lord Farquaad, and that is my bride to be, soon to be the perfect one, Princess Fiona.
Hi, I'm Rachel Crowley, and I'll be playing Princess Fiona. And this is Donkey, who is who is Shrek's friend, and also my friend who brought us together and taught us how to understand our feelings for each other.
That's awesome.
Hi, I'm Reagan, and I'm being playing Donkey. Donkey is the enthusiastic friend trying to get Shrek to have more fun on a road trip.
Excellent. So you guys are doing Shrek for your spring musical. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions. How did you approach casting for such iconic roles like Shrek and Fiona to ensure that every performer's unique strengths were showcased? Because that seems like a challenge.
That is a challenge, Erin. But let me tell you a little bit about Step VA to give you a little bit of history. We're a nonprofit organization in the Fredericksburg area supporting people with disabilities through the arts. So we have a foundational understanding of people's differences and that they have differences, and that brings strength to a performance. So when we go into casting for our show, we have live auditions. You have the option to record something if you're unable to be there, but we do require an audition. So that allows our creative team that has a culminating background of special education, music therapy, and adaptive theater to come together and look at individuals that audition and find their strengths. And they have this magical ability of seeing people's abilities and what they can become through the casting process. So this year, we had such auditions that were so amazing. We selected 2 Shreks. So we have one Shrek on Saturday and a different Shrek on Sunday because they looked at me and said, they're both awesome. We can't pick. Can we have 2? And we said, sure. Why not? We haven't done that before, but let's do that. So it requires us to adapt our tech week schedule, our dress rehearsal schedule, all our rehearsals are adapted because we want to give everybody ample time, or both Shreks ample time. And Fiona is amazing because she's got to do with 2 of them. Holy cow.
That is awesome. Yeah. Ooh. I just wanted to throw up the website really quickly so that people could see it too, for the stuff that's on here as you've been talking about. Oh, sorry, there's a little privacy thing. I'm just gonna get rid of that. But it sounds like it's gonna be a really awesome musical. And look, you guys can see some of your amazing cast members there for Shrek the Musical Jr. Does anybody else want to talk a little bit about the casting process? Like, how was it for you guys? How did you feel that day?
Oh yeah, we auditioned for it in December. First, we would go to our dancing audition with Miss Ellen, and we would dance to Freak Flag before we knew what our roles were going to be. And then we would go into this little room with Miss Sarah, Miss Ellen, and Miss Erin, and we would practice our song, which was either Freak Flag or Story of Our Life. And we did our song, and we and for my character, like if I was good enough for another one, like I for the Farquaad lines, like they were like, hey, why don't you come back and try Farquaad? And I gave my best Farquaad, and that's how I got Farquaad. Yeah.
That's awesome. Rachel, do you want to share about Fiona at all?
Yeah. I basically tried to get into the characters, like what they're thinking and how to get into character, and so I tried. Yeah.
Excellent.
And when I went to audition, I did this. I Know What Is Today for Fiona's, and then they wanted me to sing Farquaad song, but in a soprano key, because I am a soprano. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. So yeah.
That's very cool. What about you, Reagan? What was the audition process like for you?
Crazy as some people may not know, we live in Lynchburg, Virginia. And we drove 3 hours to be there in the mix up weather. That was fun. I did the travel song from Donkey, and I used Donkey lines and I auditioned for the role. And we get the text or the email or whatever of the cast list, and my mom finds out as we're sitting in a parking lot at a doctor's appointment, leaving the doctor's appointment actually, and my mom I'm ecstatic because I got the role I auditioned for.
That's really cool. Wow. So it sounds like you guys all had a really positive, experience with the casting. That's awesome. The core of, I'm sorry, I skipped something. My apologies. What sensory-friendly adjustments are being integrated into this production to make it comfortable for both the audience and for the participants who are going to be, actually doing the show?
Well, that's a really important question. And I want to highlight Reagan's answer because not only did she audition driving 3 hours, she comes every week to rehearsal from Lynchburg, which is 2.5 to 3 hours one way. So, we adapt the rehearsal schedule. So, she can potentially log in, and we do Saturday rehearsals and she's able to log in as could anybody. So it's a hybrid approach. But as far as the performances, we have an ASL interpreted performance on Saturday for anyone who needs that accommodation. We ask for accommodations upon ticket purchase so we can know what accommodations you may or may not need. And then we make the performances sensory friendly for all of our guests, which means it's not dark in the theater. The lights are up 25%. Sound is modified. There's space for people to walk around in the theater if need be. We streamline stream the show in the commons area so anyone that needs to leave the theater won't miss anything.
Wow, that's amazing.
Any accommodation, and we get those instructions from the stage to remind people that there are people with different needs in the space. And if anyone in the audience feels that we're too loud on the stage, they can do the silent applause or help us do the silent applause. We give that accommodation to people on the stage. But cast, correct me if I'm wrong, the cast and crew really like to hear the applause, so they don't say too much about it being too loud because they like to hear that they're doing amazing.
Well, they worked really hard, haven't they all? So they deserve those applause.
Absolutely. We accommodate them by also giving practice tracks for auditions. We give them scripts and set things to rehearse before audition. And then during the rehearsal process, they have practice tracks for choreography, for the songs that they're learning, so that they can go home and practice as much or as little as they want, in addition to the rehearsal time. Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then once they're on the stage, you'll see some individuals with headphones. You'll see some individuals maybe not with earbuds in because they have noise sensitivity. We adapt for clothing and makeup, and it's individual. So we look at every one person and say, what do you need? And if we need to fix something or adapt something, that's what we're good at.
That's awesome. That kind of leads us into our next question because you were talking about it a little bit, but Shrek is obviously Shrek is a big green ogre. Fiona has that beautiful princess dress. It's known for its costumes, makeups, and fairy tale settings. What kind of stuff can we look forward to seeing in this production? Rachel, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. So for the ogre part, the ogre me and the both Shreks will have a green shirt under our costumes, so that can minimize the face paints of green paints. And also, I also got fitted for a wedding dress at Ava Lorraine, and that was so magical. I felt like a prince, like really a princess that I'll be actually wearing for the show, and
Amazing.
also be wearing a tiara as well. So yeah.
Very cool. What about Grant? What about you? What about your costume? What about Lord Farquaad's very tiny legs that are very iconic?
Well, since Farquaad is a very small character, and I'm pretty tall.
You're pretty tall, dude. You're a pretty tall guy.
The pants that I wear, where we attach these legs that are made of the pool noodles up to where my knees are. And when I bend down, it looks like Farquaad is walking.
That's really funny. That should be really fun to see. Reagan, do you want to talk to us about Donkey's costume?
Yeah, I happened to wear a onesie to auditions because of the 3-hour drive, and they were like, "So you put no fur on your resume?" I cannot wear fur because my face will break out in hives. So they were like, "So you put no fur on your resume?" And I was like, "Yeah, but like you are a fur onesie." I'm like, "No, that's fleece." So I'm wearing a onesie, but that looks like a donkey.
Very cool. Excellent. Well, it sounds like the costumes are going to be really just amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. The core theme of Shrek is that everyone has a story to tell and deserves to belong. And deserves to belong. No, I said that right. I thought I stumbled over that. Jan, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. So Shrek's whole concept is trying to find a place in the world. He is not he doesn't always fit in because he's an ogre and he's kind of smelly and maybe not as cute as Lord Farquaad or some of the other characters, but trying to find a place to fit in. And I think Step VA's culture is we accept everyone where they are and we work together. And so that's how this story aligns so well with our mission and vision. But what I'll tell you is Step VA's staff does not select the musical. We have a group of participants that are teens and adults that beginning in July or August, we get together for 3 or 4 Zoom calls led by a volunteer, and they work through the process of selection. Wow. So people that potentially want to audition, you don't have to be a part of the selection committee, but if you want to, you can, and we want your voice to be heard. So they get input from the very beginning to give voice to selections that they like. They go on the MTI website, which is where the licensing agency for musicals. They go on the website, they decide what shows they like, they vote on them, they narrow their selections down to 4. And then the creative team gets the final decision.
That's awesome.
So people have a voice, and if this wasn't something that they didn't want to do or weren't interested in or wasn't relevant at the time currently, it wouldn't be on the list.
Could I add like a couple of things?
Please do, Rachel.
Please do, yeah.
Okay. So for the audition, reason how I got the role of Fiona is because I said that I was flexible. And that was how I got that was part.
That's awesome. Being flexible for this stage probably matters a lot.
And Fiona will have each Fiona, because we have a young Fiona and then we have a teen and then we have me, and we have all green dresses, but they're all different.
Oh, that's very cool. That should be a really fun thing to see when people go see the show. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
because Fiona evolves, but
She
the
does.
whole mission at Step VA is empowering people with disabilities. And so empowering them to use their voice and their talents and creativity and whatever that looks like. So we don't know until we get there. And even those of us working through the process of the musical don't know what's going to happen on April 18th and 19th. Do we, Cass?
No, expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. I like that.
That's our tagline.
It kind of reminds me a little bit about what you and I were talking about before we started recording, though, about that legacy volunteer stuff and about how, people like, Rachel was talking about how she started out as a participant in some of your summer camps, and now she volunteers to help the other kids. I mean, what's that like being a legacy volunteer? Rachel, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's you have the best of both worlds, like best of both worlds. Like you were a camper, and then now that you can teach the younger kids to grow into their characters and to have them shine on stage. So it's a fun experience.
That's awesome. Grant, do you have anything to add?
Well, when I got cast as Farquaad, yeah, my goal was to make him charismatic without being loud. Since Farquaad is not known for his physical strength, I decided to up the charismatic factor and just made him funny and just and sassy when I needed to be.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So I guess how does this production reflect Step VA's broader vision for the Fredericksburg community? Jan, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. This production opens up opportunities for the community to come participate in something fun, watch talent on stage, but even more importantly, they get to see what is possible with support. In this day and age, there's lots of stress and opposing views and opinions about places and things and what we should and shouldn't do. And our mission is to bring people together and to unite communities. And there's a place for community members to be involved in Step VA, whether that be purchasing a ticket to see our show, stepping up and being a partner in sponsoring or in-kind support or anything like that. But it opens up the opportunity for us to be more unified together. And literally when you sit in the audience, as I do occasionally, I don't do often, but when I sit in the audience, I stop and I think, what is the message that we're sending? And the message we're sending is unity and possibility and teamwork and togetherness and community. And none of those words are differing or polarizing. It's unifying and bringing people together. So
that's a wonderful, honestly, like the idea of community and coming together just sounds so wonderful. What can we look forward to from Step VA from the future? You guys are doing some cool stuff. Grant, you want to talk about go ahead.
Go ahead, Grant.
Okay, well, in the summertime, we have some summer camps you guys could do. And there's also some choirs that you can participate in. Mm-hmm. And also we have a gala in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun. Reagan, do you look forward to any of those events for yourself?
It depends on how my parents would react.
Good answer. Mom and Dad would like that.
It also involves the timing of rehearsals and stuff like that. It's of our drive.
It totally is. So this is the funnest question. What is your favorite scene or your favorite song? And what is it from the musical, from the Shrek Jr. the musical? What does it mean to you? So what's your favorite song or scene? Reagan, do you want to start?
Yeah, I would have to say I Know It's Today or the travel song.
Okay. Why?
Because the travel song is the part of the show where I get to be like, come on, Shrek, it's okay, let's go, have fun. Get into it. And I Know It's Today song reminds me of when I did theater with my sister.
Awesome.
She did theater. We did a cabaret thing, and she got to do that song with two of her friends, and I was sitting there. I was like, wow, this brings back memories of when I did that stuff with my sister.
That's awesome. Grant, what about you? Favorite song or
I'm not
scene from
in
Shrek?
this one. I'm gonna say a freak flag because at this point in the show, all the fairy tale creatures feel discouraged because they've been kicked out of everywhere and they don't even have homes. But then when they see Shrek, they feel empowered to take down Farquaad, who at this point was kicking out all the fairy tale creatures, which is kind of, I would say, inspiring because it teaches us that you can be different and you, and you can find a place to belong.
That's nice. I really like that, Grant. Thank you for sharing that. Rachel, what about you?
The favorite song, I would say it would be "I Got Your Beat" because it's a funny, song. And it's where like me and Shrek, like we're like, oh, like you have it bad, but then I had, but you think that you have it bad, but I had it, but I had it worse. So it's like it's just funny. And then we kind of like, yeah.
One-upping each other. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you guys know this, but where can people, if they're interested in supporting this magical night, where can they get tickets?
You can get tickets at
www.stepva.org.
Yes, stepva.org. Check out their website, support the spring musical. It's such a wonderful nonprofit. Thank you guys all for being here today. I really appreciate it, and I wish you, I know they don't say good luck in the theater, they say break a leg, so break a leg, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
But seriously, don't actually.
Thank you.
Actually.
Don't